It is Thursday. It's the 27th of June. I'm Monita Rajpal. This is CNN News Center, live from Hong Kong, making news today. South Africa, indeed, the world remains on edge. Nelson Mandela is on life support, and President Jacob Zuma has now cancelled an official trip to Mozambique. In the past few hours, Mandela's grandchildren have placed flowers outside his Pretoria hospital. The crowd is growing, with people leaving messages of support and thanks for the anti-apartheid hero. Errol Barnett is there for us. He joins us with more on that. Errol.
Monita, also in this past hour, one of Nelson Mandela's daughters.
Errol, we thank you for that update. We appreciate that. Errol Barnett there in Pretoria. Meanwhile, in another part of the continent, there were bright smiles for Barack Obama when he arrived in Africa, in a country looking to leave behind a dark past. The U.S. president is in Senegal, where he was greeted by President Macky Sall. It promises to be an emotional journey. Mr. Obama and his family will visit an island that served as the final exit point for slaves destined to be shipped across the Atlantic. Claire is in Dakar. She joins us now live. And Brianna, first want to start with you in terms of what is happening in South Africa. How does President Obama's trip perhaps change with Mr. Mandela's condition being what it is?
You know, it could very well, Monita, though right now White House officials are not speculating on exactly how...
Brianna, thank you very much for that. Brianna Keeler there in Dakar. You are watching CNN News Center live from Hong Kong. In, then out, then in again, a spin through the revolving door of Australian politics. That's just ahead. You are watching CNN News Center live from Hong Kong. I'm Monita Rajpal. Kevin Rudd has been sworn in as Australia's Prime Minister. Again, Mr. Rudd says he returns to office, quote, with humility, with honor, and with an important sense of energy and purpose. His previous stint as Prime Minister ended in 2010 when Julia Gillard pushed him out and took over his job. But this week, Mr. Rudd turned the tables on her, leading a charge to vote her out of party leadership, forcing her to resign. Sky News Australia reporter Tom Connell is at Sky's Parliament Bureau in Canberra and joins us now. Tom, thanks for being with us. Has there been any word or confirmation on an election date? I know that originally it's supposed to be September, but there has been a lot of talk about either pushing it earlier or later.
Yeah, Monita, the original date set by the previous Prime Minister was September 14.
Some of the other stories that we're following for you here at CNN News Center, gay and lesbian couples have had a win in the U.S. Supreme Court. A landmark decision has struck down part of the Defense of Marriage Act. The act defined marriage as a union between a man and a woman. The court ruled the federal government cannot treat gay couples differently from heterosexual couples. Tens of thousands of Brazilian protesters clashed with police on Wednesday in the southeastern city of Belo Horizonte. Police fired tear gas to disperse the crowds who marched near a stadium where a Confederations Cup match was on. There's widespread anger at the government for spending billions on hosting international sporting events rather than on improving social programs. The U.S. state of Texas has executed its 500th prisoner since the death penalty was reinstated in 1976. Kimberly McCarthy was convicted of murdering her elderly neighbor and stealing her credit cards and jewelry. Outside the prison, a small crowd of demonstrators gathered to protest the execution. An American businessman held hostage inside a Chinese factory by his own employees has been released. Workers barricaded doorways at the Beijing factory last Friday, stopping the medical supply company's co-founder, Chip Starnes, from leaving. South Korean President Park Geun-hye is making her first state visit to China. North Korea and its nuclear program are expected to top the agenda during talks with Chinese President Xi Jinping. David McKenzie reports now from Beijing.
Of course, on top of the agenda of this four-day state visit will be North Korea.
You are watching CNN News Center live from Hong Kong. Upsets continue in tennis. You are watching CNN News Center live from Hong Kong. The death toll from a helicopter crash in India on Tuesday may be as high as 20. That's according to some reports. The military helicopter was on a mission to airlift people stranded by floods and landslides in the Himalayan foothills. Many people are still missing after the floods. CNN's Nick Robertson has been in a relief camp in the area and spoke to some of those who made it to safety. Special rescuers and the families just trying to find their loved ones are all dependent on the weather, giving them at least a bit of a break. Meteorologist Mari Ramos is at the World Weather Center to see if that's actually in sight. Mari?
You know what, Monita, what a tragedy, huh? It just keeps it's getting worse and worse. I think as far as the rain is concerned, they've had breaks in between now and then. Where
all right, thank you. Sure. Now, play has resumed at Wimbledon, but can it get any more shocking than Wipeout Wednesday? It was the biggest day of upsets the tournament has seen for years, with seven former world #1s knocked out. And that included the men's reigning champion, Roger Federer. The 7-time Wimbledon winner, I should say, was beaten by unseeded Ukrainian Sergei Stakhovsky. Alex Thomas is in London and joins us now, and it's the drama that's just so exciting, Alex.
Yes, it is, Monita. Maybe they should rename Wimbledon Stumbledon just because of the amount of controversy involved.
Yeah, okay, words of advice there. Alex, thank you very much for that. We appreciate that. Now, they say it can get lonely at the top, and being in space, well, that's as high as you can get. So scientists on the Japanese space program have come up with this. Yeah, meet Kirobo, a talking robot. Well, we're glad that you're able to join us for a bit of a, well, it's not really a chat, is it? We're watching CNN News Center. I'm Monita Rajpal, live at CNN Hong Kong. Thank you for joining us. We'll update you the news headlines in just a couple of minutes.